best part of waking up.
So today we're going to talk about pressure when sharpening. I think pressure is one of those things that people get wrong a lot. Oftentimes people expect that they need to apply a lot of pressure when sharpening, and in fact, sharpening is not about heavy pressure, but rather it's about consistency and finesse. And so in fact, we use relatively light pressure when sharpening. So I have a scale here with me measuring grams, and I would encourage you to do the same. Grab a kitchen scale and measure with whatever hand you would be applying pressure with. So in this case, because I'm sharpening right-handed, I'm going to apply pressure with my left hand, and we're going to take a look at what that looks like. So here, if you look down on my scale, I'm going to go through a variety of different pressures. When I'm doing serious metal removal, that's the heaviest pressure I'm going to use, and I'll be somewhere in like the 1,500 to 2,000 gram range. And so I want to feel and see what that feels like as I'm doing this. For the bulk of my sharpening, I'm going to be closer to 1,000, maybe even a little bit under 1,000 grams, sometimes 700, somewhere in that range. And for the finishing sharpening that I do, I'm often close to maybe 100, 200 grams. It can be really light pressure, so we're not using a lot of pressure. So again, you can apply pressure with the hand that you would be using to do that while sharpening, and check that on a scale to see what that's like. So here we go. We're going to wet our stone, and this is a knife we actually have here for our sharpening service. So I'm going to take my fingers, I'm going to place them as close to the edge as possible without touching the stone, so my fingers don't start bleeding. And I'm going to apply downward pressure, not heavy pressure, just some pressure. And I'm always going to want my pressure to be on the edge trailing stroke for the bulk of my sharpening. Right? So we're going to apply edge trailing pressure, relax on the edge leading stroke. Edge trailing pressure, relax on the edge leading stroke. We're going to do our tip adjustment like we show in one of our other videos on technique. So again, pressure, relax. I'm applying edge trailing pressure. And being that this is a medium grit stone, it's not really heavy pressure at all. I'm going to feel for a burr, make sure it's even and consistent. I'm going to flip over to the other side. On the other side, I'm also going to apply edge trailing pressure. So here it's going to be pressure, relax, pressure, relax. You can see that I'm not lifting up on my relaxed stroke. I'm keeping the knife in contact with the stone the entire time. But I am applying more pressure on my edge trailing stroke and relaxing on my edge leading stroke. Once we formed a burr on both sides, we'll switch over to our finishing stone. So in this case, we'll go from 1,000 to 6,000. And we're going to do the same thing. Again, utilizing relatively light pressure. I'm probably somewhere right around like 500 to 700 grams at this point. Same thing here, applying pressure on my edge trailing stroke and relaxing on my edge leading stroke. When we get to the last step of sharpening, the finishing, the stropping that we're going to do, we're going to relax our pressure even more. And again, we are applying pressure on the edge trailing stroke here. We're going to deburr, strop a little bit more, very light pressure, just enough to keep the knife in contact with the stone. And that's that. Let's take a look and see how we did. I would say that's pretty sharp. So, this is our little talk on pressure when sharpening.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.